You weren't safe, but you were sacred. You didn't fit the dream. I woke up for you. You didn't match my plans. You matched my soul. We weren't compatible. We were cosmic. You confused me, then consumed me. You felt wrong in all the right ways. I didn't chase you. I collided with you. You didn't blend in. You burned through me. I didn't understand you, but my heart obeyed. You were too much. That's why I stayed. You felt like danger. You became devotion. You didn't look like peace, but I found it in you. I didn't fall for your smile. I fell for your storm. You were the exception to everything I swore off. I didn't mean to feel this, but I do. You weren't what I pictured. You were what I prayed for. You were too different. That's why it worked. You didn't blend in. You woke me up. I didn't trust love until it came wearing your name. You weren't love at first sight. You were love at first soul. I didn't think I'd fall. Then you spoke, and I was gone. You weren't easy, but you were worth the chaos. I didn't know what I needed until I lost you. You didn't belong in my past. You were meant for my future. You were unexpected. But my soul prepared for you. You were loud. I was quiet. Somehow we echoed. I didn't pick you. My pain did. You weren't supposed to stay, but you stayed in every poem. You brought light to places I buried long ago. I didn't plan on needing you, but here I am. You ruined my walls and rebuilt them with gentleness. You weren't the answer I expected, just the healing I didn't know I needed. You didn't fix me, you loved me while I broke. I didn't expect to crave someone so unpredictable. You weren't a chapter, you were a plot twist. You didn't make me whole. You reminded me I already was. I didn't know love could be wild and still feel like home. You didn't save me. You showed me I could save myself. I didn't fall for your perfection. I fell for your rawness. You weren't gentle, but you were honest. You showed me love without speaking a word. You didn't come when I was ready. You came when I was real. You weren't love at first glance. You were a haunting I never wanted to leave. You weren't my destiny. You were my detour, and that changed everything. I didn't see you coming, but every scar did. You felt dangerous, so did falling in love with you. You weren't easy to love, but I never wanted easy. I didn't expect the pain, just the poetry. You were a mirror I almost broke, but kept looking into. You didn't make sense. You made an impact. I didn't know how to love myself until you showed me how you did. You weren't like them. That terrified me. You didn't offer answers, just presence, and that was enough. You were wild, and I needed wild. You weren't the person I pictured, but you were the feeling I dreamed of. I didn't think I could love again. You shattered that lie. You were the chaos I needed to feel alive again. You didn't come wrapped in red flags. You came as a mirror. You were unpredictable. That's why you felt real. I didn't fall in love. I fell into awakening. You didn't make me believe in love. You made me feel it. You weren't my type. You were my trigger. I didn't ask for love, but you showed up like fate. You weren't a storm. You were the thunder that reminded me I'm still alive. You felt like home in a language I never spoke. I didn't know love could ache like that and still be holy. You didn't save me. You made me want to save myself. I didn't expect magic. Then you smiled. You weren't the one I wanted. You were the one I was made for. You were everything I feared, and everything I'd risk again. I didn't know someone so different could feel so familiar. You weren't the cure. You were the reason I healed. I didn't expect to care, but now you're everywhere. You weren't the love of my life. You were the soul of it. You didn't promise forever, but you gave me now. I didn't believe in fate until I met your eyes. You didn't try to impress me. You disarmed me. I didn't fall in love. I remembered we already were. You were never mine, but every part of me loved you. I didn't expect to be haunted by a heartbeat, but yours echoes still. You weren't my type, just my fate. I didn't understand your world, but my heart moved in anyway. Our souls spoke different languages, yet they kissed like old lovers. You were everything I said I'd never want, and exactly what I needed. I didn't plan for you. The universe did. Loving you ruined my logic and saved my soul. You didn't fit my list. You fit my destiny. I feared the fire, then I fell in love with it. You were chaos. I was silence. Somehow we made music. You didn't look like my forever, but you felt like it. We were opposites. Maybe that's why we magnetized. I tried to run. The bond ran faster. You healed wounds you didn't even see. You were the lesson and the miracle. I wasn't ready. But you arrived like prophecy. I didn't expect you. I just recognized you. We had nothing in common except the ache in our hearts. I swore I'd never love someone like you. Then I did. You were unfamiliar, but my soul bowed in recognition. I didn't fall for you, I remembered you. You made me question everything, especially why I ever settled. You were a risk. My heart took it anyway. You didn't belong in my world. You became it. I wasn't looking, but you found me anyway. You showed up like a glitch in my guarded reality. We shouldn't work, but here we are, breaking rules beautifully. You weren't the love I expected, just the one I couldn't forget. I didn't know love could feel this haunting. You brought storms and stillness. I stayed. I tried to unlove you. My soul refused. You were different. Maybe that's why I trusted you. The moment you entered, the past stopped hurting. You taught me love isn't always logical, but it's always divine. You weren't like the rest. That scared me, then saved me. I didn't expect to need you. Now I can't unneed you. You were a stranger. My heart called you home. We weren't aligned, but the stars bent to bring us together. You weren't perfect, but you were true. You didn't speak my language, but you understood my silence. You weren't who I dreamed of. You were who I woke up for. I didn't expect you to stay, but your soul never left. You were different. That's why I couldn't stop loving you. We weren't supposed to be, but fate disobeyed. I loved you before I knew why. You cracked me open in ways gentle never could. I didn't see you coming, but I swear I saw God in you. We weren't a match. We were a miracle. You didn't make sense. You made everything else stop mattering. I didn't fall. I surrendered. You broke all my rules and built something holy in their place. I wasn't ready for love. You weren't afraid of my ruins. We didn't make sense. We made a story. I never asked for you, but I thanked every star once you came. You shattered my logic and rebuilt my heart. We collided like fate had something to prove. I resisted. The soul didn't. You weren't expected, just divinely placed. I didn't need another person. I needed your energy. You showed me love could be wild and still safe. I loved you with parts I didn't know existed. I knew I'd fall. I didn't know I'd fly. You weren't mine, but my soul disagreed. I feared you'd ruin me. Instead, you revealed me. You didn't belong in my life. You belonged in my blood. I didn't recognize you, but my pain did. You were too much. That's why I couldn't forget you. We weren't compatible. We were inevitable. You felt like a mistake until you became a miracle. You made me believe again. That's no small thing. I loved the parts of you everyone misunderstood. You taught me that love is rarely comfortable, but always honest. I didn't fall in love. I remembered we already were. I thought I knew love until you shattered my definition. You brought all my buried pieces to the surface. I didn't plan for you. The universe did. You were different. That difference healed me. You didn't look like love, but you felt like it. You weren't what I wanted, but everything I needed. I didn't see it coming, but I felt it instantly. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. You weren't light, but you lit up everything. We didn't start with a spark. We started with recognition. You were too honest. That's why I trusted you. You didn't match me. You mirrored me. I didn't believe in divine timing until you arrived. You came from a world I didn't understand. But I knew how to love you. You were different, and that difference softened my scars. We didn't belong together, but we kept choosing to stay. You broke my expectations and built something better. I didn't want to fall, but you made gravity feel holy. You weren't the type I dreamed of, but the soul I couldn't stop dreaming about. You were the contradiction my heart craved. You didn't love like the others. You loved like you meant it. You didn't try to fix me. You just saw me. You weren't what I prayed for, but everything I needed to heal. I was done with love. Then you showed up.